I'm Doug Doyle with The Art of the Story. Many people are looking forward to NBC's coverage of the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. If you love watching wrestling, the matches begin in early August, and USA's men's and women's team are expected to bring home plenty of medals. USA Wrestling CEO Rich Bender was a recent guest on my podcast Sports Jam, and he's pumped for the thrilling action on the mat.
Wrestling and sport can transcend politics. And, we're going to come in to Paris with a, pretty singular focus to win. And, that means if it's an Iranian or a Russian or a Belarusian or a Ukrainian, we're there to compete and win. And then at the end of the day, shake hands. And, we're a sport that shakes hands before we start and after we're done. And, it's proven time and time again. And it's joked about this in the late 90s when, we were the first sports team to go into Iran and participate after the revolution. We came back and President Clinton had our team, in the White House. And, what we came evident to us early on is that, man, we are fierce competitors on the mat, but we're humans. Certainly in the sport of wrestling, I can say that for sure. It's a family, and it unifies. It's some, dear friends that are, don't see the same political view as I have, but yet love the sport of wrestling, love to compete. And I think that's true of the Olympic movement. I think, we're going to see in Paris that on full display. I think you're going to, regardless of conflicts that are going around the world, athletes are going to come together for the spirit of sport. And diplomacy is going to be on full display.
Rich Bender has led one of the most successful periods in USA Wrestling history, both on and off the mat, since being named acting executive director of USA Wrestling in November of 2000. He told me a story about his 7th grade report card that was really a foreshadowing of what was to come.
My grades in 7th grade science had been on a bad trajectory, from 87 or a 90 to a 80 to a 70. And in the back of the report card, my 7th grade science teacher, Jerry Fitzgerald, who's, God rest him, a great mentor of mine, wrote on the back of that report card to my dad and my mom is wrestling, wrestling, wrestling. All Rich wants to do is talk about wrestling. Can you tell him there's more to life than wrestling? And it was funny. I when I was fortunate enough to be inducted to the Hall of Fame year before last, that was in my case. So I got to laugh about that with Mr. Fitzgerald before he passed, but it was it's been part of my life. I mean, I've wrestling's been at the core of who Rich Bender is from as long as I can remember.
You can see my entire Sports Jam interview with Rich Bender on the WBGO Facebook page. I'm Doug Doyle, WBGO News.